Tectone has put out the call and I shall answer. If you didn't know, Tectone recently dropped a video talking about a lot of the issues in Genshin Impact and how they can be fixed. And he has called on other content creators to go through some of the points that he's given and to give our takes on them. Are they actually good? Is what Tectone is offering actually helpful? But what we're going to find out about that in today's video is everything wrong with Genshin Impact. So ask and you shall receive. Now time to receive me, Tectone cheese.
Good evening, boys. So your boy is currently in the algorithm, and I mean really hard. We're having multiple videos breaking 100,000 views again. It feels very...
Hey, share the love.
Very good. Twitch stream, we broke 7,000 viewers last time I was live. And I haven't done one of these in a while because sometimes I feel like an old man yelling at the clouds. Because
hold on, I'm on a bad side for this one. There, we fixed it.
Sometimes I feel like an old man yelling at the clouds because my channel is currently blowing up, and it's also blowing up in other channels such as Japan and China, you know, territories that Hoyoverse actually listens to. I would like to decide to throw my hat in the ring and once again to suggest changes and make the player base once again aware of its overly predatory practices.
I kind of want to blow up on like the Japanese side. I think that would be so cool. I randomly keep getting thrust into like Japanese Twitter or Japanese X, whatever you want to call it. I keep getting all these posts like I can't read them. I don't know why. I think it's just cool art and stuff. I keep getting served that stuff. I don't know why, but whatever. It is what it is. If you're Japanese and you're chilling and you're watching this video right now, what's up? Konnichiwa.
Differently than the games that have come because of Genshin Impact that have kind of adapted the way that players play and adapted the way players spend. I would like for Genshin to get some equality like the other games have, and I do want you to make, I want to make you abundantly clear of all of the issues currently with Genshin Impact and the way they monetize their video games, and
Genshin Impact right now, if you didn't know, currently has like a reputation, at least for like the Hoyoverse IPs, as probably being the worst monetized. You could probably argue it's worse than Wuthering Waves as well, and especially off the back of the recent controversy of them doubling up 2 limited character banners in the first half of the 5.3 patch. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair to say they are one of the worst monetized games right now, with their 50-50 model on the character banners as well, just everything kind of compounded together. So like, yeah, it's not great.
I would also like, if you were a content creator, I would love for you to react to this video. Give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. Am I wrong? Am I not? And feel free to tag me in the react, and I would love to get a response to react.
Ask and you shall receive.
Really appreciate videos like this, keeping the community alive. Number 1, fuck Paimon. Okay, now that we got that out of the way.
True. I'm sorry. Look, Paimon sucks. I got totally sick of going through an entire dialogue sequence and a whole back and forth between all the characters just so I can have Paimon at the end go, so what you're actually saying is, I can't. It was, oh my gosh, was that so grating on the ears? Absolutely. So no, kill Paimon or reveal Paimon to be the big bad, whatever Paimon's supposed to be. Just get that out of the way so we can stop. Just have the Traveler talk. Just have the Traveler talk. It's really not that bad. It's all illusion of choice in the RPG, like character dialogue options anyway. Like, don't bother doing that anymore.
Let's get into the real shit of why I think Genshin has a horribly, horribly predatory system that it should learn from the games that are now, and for lack of a better term, excelling where Genshin Impact lacks. And that is
to reclaim my Kurobot status, like in Wuthering Waves, for example. They do have the 50 character pity, but I mean, at least it's less pulls. Seems to be similar currency economy, but also the weapon banner is guaranteed. There's no 50-50 on the weapon banner. So you know what? I'm not going to go my way and say it's the best monetization model, but it's definitely better than theirs. And especially with the generosity between that, Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero, just as more kind of comparable titles here. It is definitely the least generous of all the titles as well.
Is the monetary system. This video was inspired by you guys, and it was inspired by this comment. Genshin Impact isn't so bad. Just look at how much money we gave them from every single Genshin Impact fan.
That's just the same thing for any gacha game ever when we were all arguing over the revenue reports, which I mean, it's just like, it was just always in good fun, but also that that whole meta just got killed. It's not a thing anymore because of apparently St. Tontus is going around killing a bunch of websites. But like, I mean, it is really funny when you think about it, when they're like, see guys, look, the game's good because they have all this money, which in like normal situations, I think in a normal monetization model, like purchasing a game, that makes sense. I don't think it 100% makes sense for, you know, a gacha related model.
Patch after revenue report after revenue report, I see Genshin Impact retards, and I use that word specifically, say, oh, duh, but our game is really good, cause look at how much money it makes. Wow.
Well, look at how popular the game is. Look at all the dollars. Yes, please. Please, billion-dollar company, take all my money. Dwayne's not gonna marry you, bro. Just chill.
Oh, dude, that's really cool. Congratulations. Genshin makes a lot of money. Do you want to know why it makes a lot of money? Well,
because they're busy picking it out of your pockets.
Why don't we give you issue number 1? Genshin Impact, you are 4 years, nearly 4 years into your development cycle, and players cannot still farm the materials that they want to on the days that they want to do it.
I just had a weird mind break there. Hashtag mind break tag. Of like, Genshin's been out for 4 years. Like, think about how much has changed in the world in 4 years when it launched freaking during the vid. Oh my gosh. That makes you feel so old so fast when you start to think about it like that. But also, to direct a direct point there, yeah, that's so ridiculous that they have farming stages that are locked to particular days of the week. That's dumb. I bumped into other things with other games, like Nikke's only got like tower modes for certain manufacturers that you can only do on certain days of the week. I also don't like that. Like, I don't like the daily time gated stuff, because then like it forces you to have to play on their schedule, on their terms, to access those game modes. And I've never liked that, whether it be certain live forms of PvP or tower modes or farming stages. I've never liked that. That should be gone away with.
Now, do you want to know why that is, chat? Well, let me tell you, that's because they want you to freak the fuck out if you miss a couple days. You miss the talent rewards, you can't level up the characters that you want, you can't play the way you want. So next time it happens, oh God, you farm a little bit, but oh, it's not enough. If you're not patient, then guess what? You're gonna have to wait a couple 2 or 3 days to see that material apply again. So guess what you are going to have to do? Spend money on Primo Gems to refresh it, to get even more of that oh so valuable resource that you so crave. It's
give me an F, give me an O, give me an M, give me an O. It's the FOMO. Yeah, like, look, every gacha game capitalizes on FOMO. That's not unique to Genshin Impact, but the farming stages is just another way of doing that. Also, they're trying to give you more reason to log in daily and really build that habit in you. Every gacha game does this. You've got your daily commissions, so you can complete your weekly, so you can get additional rewards. They're building the habit in you to log in daily, and Genshin just has even more than some of these other titles by having that daily time gated system. And that's exactly what it is. There's the pressure there that you have to log in on those days. You gotta farm extra so you have the resources that you have. And then if you don't have enough saved up, you know, additional energy, I can't remember what it's called, those tiers that you can craft in Genshin, so you can have some additional energy to farm on those days, then yes, guess what you gotta do? Time to drop some primos.
Bullshit. You know it's bullshit. Honkai Star Rail don't do that shit. Zenless don't do that shit. Wuthering Waves don't do that shit. So why, oh why, does Genshin still do it? And let me tell you why. Because you dumb fuck slop that shit up and say, oh, Dwayne, oh man, you're the best. Yes, I am using a retard voice intentionally, because you got to be dumb as fuck to defend this shit. And
no, he's right. He's right. It's straight up indefensible to defend a time-gated system on getting your level up materials for the different skills in the characters. No other game does that. At least that matters in the scope of this conversation, you know, of kind of the Hoyoverse, Kurosphere, a couple adjacent titles. None of them do that. I'm currently playing through Girls Frontline 2. It doesn't do that. It should be completely gone away with at this point.
And how in the fuck are no CCs talking about this shit still? It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. 4 years? And I still gotta wait till Wednesday to get my Jigamahoos so I can level up my big booby bitch number 51? Dumb as
Oh, come on, guys. I really got to play with big booby bitch number 51, or else I can't really enjoy the game anymore. What's the point of even playing the game anymore if I can't play with my favorite waifu? And it's my 51st one. It matters way more than the first 8 to 49 to 50. Not true.
Fuck. You know what else is dumb as fuck? Front loading 2 characters, aka Malvika and Sitlali? Whatever the fuck her name is.
I think it's Sidley. That's how I read it, at least. I could be totally wrong on that.
Is on the same week cycle, and then giving the rewards on the second week cycle. Yes, that's
just like such a piss off. Like I don't know how any player was like totally chill about that. Like that's just like salt in the wound from where I'm sitting here, where it's like, that's just like, why? Well, actually, sorry, we shouldn't even say why. We all know why. Money. So you have to drop dollar bills so you can get the characters. You can just like, when you paint that compared to other titles like PGR that rewards a player's time by being able to guarantee a character if you play the game weekly and if you commit to that, like, I think a lot of players are totally okay with some of the time investment required for gacha games if that time is respected and rewarded. And a game like PGR does that perfectly, where if you play the game, you can guarantee a character every single patch if you do that. Genshin does not do that. There's never enough to do that unless you are spending money on it, and this is just their way of being like, give us all your money. Come on. You just made it through the holidays. Time to spend even more, bitches.
That's right, boys. Have you ever heard of Fomo? Well, guess what? We're back at it in round 2. So now let me tell you why they did this.
I gave you my YMCA FOMO earlier.
Because of money. You're going to notice a trend on this one, boys. So, Archon patch, highly desired unit, if not the most highly desired unit, unless they decide to release Capitano, but that's a dude. It's not going to make money regardless. No.
I think I'll disagree with you there, Tectone. I think Capitano will make money. I think a lot of people really like the Fatui Harbingers, so I think a lot of people are still going to pull on the Harbingers personally. I think Capitano is kind of like a pretty popular character, but I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
Malvika is the Archon, and Sitlali is her highly synergistic support unit, so I've been told. I'll be real. I'm not saying that he's going to be higher than like Malvika or Sidley, by the way. I'm just saying I still think he could be quite popular and still sell well. Play the damn game because it's shit. And I like
putting
money where my mouth is. I will be going back to Genshin Impact once they get rid of Paimon and they make this game far less predatory. However, I'm not doing that until it changes. However, I still will be that old man on the porch with my shotgun saying, hey, get off my lawn, like the bitter old fuck I am.
I think I fall very much in line with that way of thinking as somebody who also played Genshin on launch, really tracked along with Tectone, played the game all the way through Sumire, returned briefly for Fontaine. I feel very similarly in terms of like, you're kind of like the old grouch who's like a little bit bitter about an ex relationship and you're still kind of a little bit salty and bitter about it. Like you should probably let it go at some point, but also it's really hard to when it's something you were so previously excited about. You know, it's like love is the most powerful way to hating something really deeply, you know?
That shit. They're not calm to us. That's Summoner's War. Jesus, this feels nostalgic. Hoyoverse, this is a fucking joke. You are doing this because you know these people want this character. You are doing this because you know they want this character to be optimized. However, if they want that, man, they got to dig deep into their pockets. You couldn't even give them the 20 extra polls to hopefully get 1 or 2 of them. If they get lucky, it wasn't going to happen anyways. It is fucking outrageous.
I mean, he's just spitting straight facts there, kind of what we've already addressed. So like, yeah, absolutely. Always a warning with gacha games. You're walking into a slot machine. It's not a charity, even though it's free to play. Just remember, always a PSA.
Not only are you pay gating a Archon, which, by the way, issue number 3 is pay gating proper quality of life of exploring your dog shit game. Look at Wuthering Waves. All quality of life is locked behind fucking gadgets.
It's so funny. If I understand correctly, all the characters that were released in Natlan leading up to Malvika all had an additional mobility piece that was added to their kit to make exploring Natlan like more enjoyable. And then after releasing all those characters where a bunch of people were dropping their money or saved Primo Gems on, they released Malvika, who has all of them packed into one single kit, which I think is absolutely hilarious that they would do that. I understand it for lore reasons. She's the Archon. You want her to be busted, but that's so funny. And then especially when you are, you know, juxtaposing that with Wuthering Waves, which is basically its most one-to-one competition here. The quality of life in terms of the mobility and exploration does make it extremely difficult to go back to Genshin Impact on. And they've just recently, the latest update, time to chill for a minute. In the latest update, they've added a new glider for the new region because it is, you know, very big and very vertical in some areas. And it has been sweet to see that it's just basically dropped in as part of the story. There's no pay gating. It's just part of it. They want you to enjoy the region. But instead, Genshin's like, dollar value. That's right. We're going to milk you for everything that you're worth.
How the fuck are you going to release shitty versions of these little dinosaurs to do Mickey Mouse versions of the mega versions of the characters that you can pay $500 fucking dollars to guarantee you one copy of? Ridiculous. And all these other characters who people already pulled for to get better exploration. Now Malvika does all of their job in one character. You know what you're doing. It's
okay, I'm glad I was right. I thought that was my understanding as well. So I'm glad we got some confirmation here. It's so funny.
Fucking outrageous. You are going to be slurping up people's money from their wallet, and it's gross. And then you put Sitlali, the most synergistic unit for Malvika, with her, knowing that if a player wants one, they're going to want both. So that way you can assure $1,000 to guarantee both of them, not to mention their fucking weapons. And let's talk about the issue with the fucking weapon banner.
Before we talk about that whole thing, that sound effect he just dropped made me think of like the TikTok NPC streams when it's like the activating Glizzy 9000. They just glorping it. Oh my gosh. It's true. And look, I can only laugh because if I don't laugh, it'll make me cry, okay? Like, look, I'm an ex-Genshin player too. It does make me sad to see how it's just kind of continued to go down this path, okay? So if I'm not laughing, I'm just gonna be angry or upset about it. So, like, let's choose to approach it with joy, okay?
Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact. Why the fuck is there a 50-50 on that shit?
True.
Why the fuck is there a 75-25? This shit sucks. Look at Wuthering Waves.
I honestly hate the 50-50. I don't think 50-50 should be a thing. I think, like, if there could be some standard characters, I think they should be on, like, I think this is the best way to solve it. If you can have a standard banner that's just always available, that has, like, your standard, you know, 5 standard rate up characters, and then you have your limited banner that's rotating for the new characters. Fine, if you want to go that direction, fine. But I think then the currency that it takes to pull on the standard banner, I think should be more accessible and more farmable in-game, so you can still get those 5-star standard characters eventually, while still needing to work a little bit more or save a little bit more of the premium currency for the limited banner. I think that's way better than having this stupid 50-50 system where they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the 50-50. Here's a random 5-star character we know you didn't want it, so you don't get it anyway. It's just stupid. I don't like it. Get rid of it. Let's go back to guarantees, everybody. Let's get that PGR guarantee up in here.
If I get to pity, I get the fucking weapon and we call it a day. You don't need the game to be this fun.
Wuthering Waves also does have the guarantee on the weapon. We talked about that before, but absolutely, let's get rid of 50-50. That's bull.
Fucking predatory. I assure you, do something to make your players happy for once. Just try it. See how it goes.
Once.
It'll make you feel quite good. Losing these chances on these banners fucking sucks balls. And once again, I also heard that the new weapon banner system, there's only one 50-50 now, but it doesn't fucking carry over. I died.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't carry. There's nothing that will make me bail out of a gacha faster than knowing that the pity that is built in the game does not carry over from banner to banner. I have dropped out of gacha games in like 20 minutes because after I realized that that was the case and what was going on. That is such a piss off that you need to, it's all or nothing. Save everything up and hopefully you get the character because the pity's not going anywhere. That is atrocious. That's just, oh my gosh, why does their banner system in Genshin keep getting worse? Why does it keep getting worse? I mean, like, they got, at least there is a guarantee on the weapon now, but that's crazy. That's so terrible.
On the staff of Homa banner for your sins. And you still can't make this shit not.
Can we just get a moment of silence for Tectone's wallet on failing on the staff of Homa? Thank you, brother.
Not suck ass? Bro, I spent like $500,000 on your fucking game. Like, think about that reasonably, chat.
He says 500,000, but I think the one time he actually ran through the calculations and it's like maybe closer to 300, which I'm not saying is nothing, but that's so crazy. And I think that's 300 across like all the gifting and extra stuff too. That's not all 300,000 on one single account, just for context there. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments down below.
I'm not even live. This is the YouTube. How much more money does this company possibly need to get before they start saying, okay, so now we got the groundwork for everything we need. Maybe we'll make the game just a little bit more friendly for people who aren't fucking whales. It's outrageous.
I mean, look, I think it's silly to expect a company that's never shown that to make that pivot. I think it's fair to want that, but no company that's ever shown that they are always out to try and get the most money out of you that they can. I think it would be delusional to expect them to be like, okay, we're gonna start backing off. We're gonna start backing off a little bit. Unfortunately, I think that's a vote with your wallet situation. They're not gonna start backing off on some of that stuff until players start backing off with their spending. But as we've seen earlier this week, even the double rate up banner is not gonna stop people. And content creators are still C6ing Malvika because she's the Archon, so that's never happening. It's just, I would not even, in no world would I even hope for that to be the case.
Outrageous. It really is. Now, we talked about the weapon banner. We talked about the character front loading. We talked about the lack of awards, 3 years, 3 polls.
Is that the Dark Souls symbol on his shirt? I just can't remember. I just got really distracted by that, but let me know in the comments down below.
We talked about the pay gating, quality of life. Now let's talk about something even more fun. Bullet sponge fights.
One of the laziest forms of development. We're not gonna add anything new or complex to a boss. We're just gonna increase the HP because we just love a DPS check. That's one of the things that Wuthering Waves does great with its hologram towers. If you haven't had a chance to do them, there's about 6 floors per each hologram tower. And actually each floor that you do on the hologram tower, there's more move sets added to the boss. It makes the fights more complex instead of just simply being an HP increase. And that is the best way to go about doing something like that. You ease a player into the difficulty of the combat as the tower increases, and you're not just relying on, oh, we'll just crank this number up then. Like, I gotta give credit where credit is due with Wuthering Waves on that one. Peak for doing that. Bullet sponge bosses, fucking stupid.
Yep, that's right. Bullet sponge fights. That way, even these little autistic children that populate your Twitter space can still get on the game and throw the little, I throw the water bubble and then I throw the green bubble and it makes a flower and then I take electricity and then I make it explode.
Okay, look, I know we like to clown on it, but let's be real. The elemental reaction system was a ton of fun, and a lot of people loved it on launch, and a lot of people still like it. It just gets clowned on more now because Hyper Bloom has just completely power crept everything that, like, none of the other elemental reactions matter as far as I'm aware. So I think that's where it comes down to. And also, Geo still doesn't react to things. It still does shield, you know, rip Geo.
I know I'm so freaking good at Genshin Impact. That way, even your fucking retard fan base, only the people who like Paimon. Once again, if you like
True, that's true.
Genshin, it's fine. Totally get it. I just fucking hate that fucking character. I mean, you gotta be Dora the Explorer's #1 fan to fucking enjoy the story writing this game. Holy shit. I don't want to make a video on why the storytelling.
Can you say backpack? Backpack.
Like it's fucking shit. I just fucking don't. I don't have the prerogative. Okay? You make this game so goddamn easy to fucking play. But then the problem is you want to make people think that they're not good enough by making every character have 10 million HP. The skill ceiling of a bad player and a good player is borderline non-existent.
It's true, because you're just talking about the same rotations at that point. Because there's no dodge mechanics, there's no parry, there's nothing else. You literally just shield yourself and pop off Hyper Bloom just to clear everything. At the end of the day, it only comes down to artifact rolls, which is 100% RNG, which does suck. Where, like, Wuthering Waves, you can compensate for bad artifacts with good gameplay. You can in other games as well, but I'm just using Wuthering Waves as the most, cross comparison here. You can't do that with Genshin. So the fact that they only strictly rely on that is just kind of bull.
Okay? You got these people like Zajeff and Ziox who like to pretend that they're good at the game. They're fucking not, okay? Anybody who plays...
They're good at spending money on the game. Not the same thing.
...plays this game for 3 hours is just as good as anybody who's paid for 1,000 hours. This game is not hard. There are not complex mechanics. Now, there are mechanics that you can pretend are complex, but they're fucking not. Oh, yeah, Tectone, but what about the Dragon Dive? What about the Dragon Dive, Tectone? What about canceling the auto attack for Hu Tao?
What if I Kara cancel my D-Luke so I can get my extra attacks off? No one's doing the dragon lunge bullcrap where you're just like jump canceling constantly over and over again. It's the same reason why people hate Klee, because she was only good when you animation canceled. Nobody wants to play the game that way. It's not fun to play the game that way. Hu Tao even can be borderline sometime if you're playing like with super animation cancels. But like, I don't know. Whenever you have to rely on that to get the max DPS out of a character, it's kind of like, not huge on that.
Yeah, well, those are for fucking losers. So yes, you can do like 1 to 2% optimizations if you want to be like. I'm gonna be real, bro. If I go to somebody's stream and I see them dragon diving on D-Luke, I'm clicking off. Okay, hell no.
I'm sorry, if you still want to play the same character 4 years later and do the same animation cancel over every day, that's... I think you might be on the spectrum with that one. Otherwise, I don't know how you haven't shot yourself at this point.
Jesus Christ.
In a video game, I don't actually mean that. We're being hyperbolic. Like, okay, let's just chill. It's just a lot of repetition over and over again, okay?
You gotta be the biggest turbo virgin to fucking practice hardcore Genshin mechanics, aka a game made for dumbasses on the internet, 8-year-olds on their phone, and you're out there on the PC sweating that shit like it's CSGO or League of Legends Worlds. Good Lord, get a fucking grip, or even better, go to the gym and do something productive with your life.
I was one of those deranged people that would play Genshin Impact on the phone. I know a lot of people were like, how can you play this on the phone? Like, you need to play it on PC or on console. I played it on my phone, like, regularly, especially to do, like, dailies and stuff. I am one of the psychopaths.
Holy shit, that shit is sad as fuck. You can do it for fun, but if you think that you're doing it because you're superior, good Lord, get a fucking grip. That shit is pathetic. Bullet sponge mechanics, you know what they do? They really incentivize players to spend money because the mechanics in this game are not complex enough to actually get better at to do more damage. But however, you can get a couple constellations. Isn't that fun? No, it's not. It sucks. It really fucking sucks.
Especially with some of the later characters, it really started to seem like they were locking like the fullness of a character's kit behind constellations, which like I think a character on their base form should be like a complete kit and a complete version of that character, and the power scaling that goes along with it. Like I don't think it should be a complete change to the playstyle of the character. That's me personally. I understand people are going to feel differently about that, but when it feels like you release an incomplete character without the constellations, that's just like, that's gross.
It sucks so bad, you might as well call it your mother. It is so fucking terrible, it's outrageous. And yep.
My mother is a saint!
I believe those are every...
Not Saint Tontus, though.
...system that sucks in good old Genshin Impact. We talk about the weapon banner, lack of rewards, front-loading 2 new characters, giving rewards during downtime rather than uptime,
True.
highly synergistic units pay getting max optimization, bullet sponge mechanics to promote more spending, locking rewards at certain days, locking the mere quality of life behind characters, and Paimon is garbage. And just wait.
Yes.
It also does not have the freedom of choice with your characters. Once again, selling units that are highly purposed to be with this specific character, it blows. We all remember Raiden Shogun and Karasojo, whatever the fuck her name was, or Karasujo.
Kujo Sara. Yeah, Kujo Sara really only could be used with Raiden Shogun, and her kit was a little bit clunky too, which really sucks because I really liked the design of Kujo Sara. I didn't even care that she was a 4-star, especially after I got her to C6, but she was like really clunky to play, and so that's why I don't even bother using her. I don't even bother. I still play. I didn't even bother using her later on and just turned it into like a Hyper Bloom comp, really. So yeah, it really is too bad. I think this was the talking point that kind of came up recently when we were talking about team building and Wuthering Waves, that some people were complaining that the characters don't feel like as hyper tuned to other characters as like requirements, and I think like they shouldn't. I don't want a character to feel like they only have utility with one other particular character. I like character kits being broad enough that you can have a variety of team composition. I don't want it to be so hard-lined in on that. That was something that happened in PGR where really it started to feel like you were just kind of playing an elemental team comp, like, oh, am I playing the fire team or am I playing the ice team? Like, so that's actually one of the areas that I feel like, you know, PGR kind of fell through. Genshin does that too, and I don't want games to continue to go that direction.
Good news is she was a 4-star, so it wasn't as bad as games like Honkai Star Rail, because Honkai Star Rail, good Lord, I hate that shit. Oh, so you got this one follow-up character? Well, okay, you got Fei Xiao. Well, now you need Adventuring and Robin and Topaz. Yeah, that's a character. That's the character with the huge ass. Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, you need that to build Fart. And if you don't have those characters for Fart, you're going to play for 40% optimization.
Well, that's just if you want to get like the super sweaty follow-up. Like, look, let's be real. I've got like a half-assed follow-up with Fei Xiao, Robin, March 7th in her imaginary form, and then I just drop a friggin' Ho-Ho in there for like a bit of sustain, and honestly, the team still works fine. People are like, why would you, that's such a suboptimal team. Yeah, go be sweaty somewhere else. I don't care. It works perfectly fine.
It's just shitty, bro. It's just shitty. This game has every capacity to learn, but it won't. And you want to know why? Because nobody talks about this shit. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. You want to know why? Because they don't care. They don't. You want to know why they don't care? Because they know forcing positivity is what's good for the algorithm. And they know that's what's good for their channel. It's good for their livelihood. But you know.
You got to get that bag. I get it. I'm not going to judge somebody for getting that bag, but I'm going to just say the results of your actions are exactly where we are.
You know what it's not good for? The fucking player base.
True.
You know what it's not good for? The fucking spending habits of people who can't control themselves in these fucking gacha games.
Sad.
Remind your audience that these are predatory games and demand that your companies do better. That's
We've already done this multiple times in this video. Remember, gacha games are slot machines.
just my opinion.
Gamble responsibly.
Once again, I'm doing this because I'm back in the algorithm. Thank fucking God. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing to my channel. Thank you for hitting the bell on all notifications. And thank you for following me on twitch.tv/Tectone and joining me on Twitter. Be back again when I make another video pissing everybody off because I am the one guy trying to fix things while everybody else is doing fucking nothing. Not everybody, but the people who are put on a pedestal. See y'all later. Peace.
And that's why Tectone and I have saved the Genshin community, everybody. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you disagree with myself and or Tectone? Let's have some conversations in the comments. If you are a Hoyo shill, hi, welcome. Appreciate it. Maybe I should have said this at the beginning, but I appreciate you coming on into this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate your time. See you in the next one.